Well, welcome, folks, to this edition of the 700 Club. I just noticed in the news that the person who's been at, or at least the firm that's been at the heart of the opioid crisis, Purdue Pharma, has been hit by so many lawsuits they're declaring bankruptcy. Well, I wish there was something worse that could happen to them, but it's going to happen. And something else, women, are they at greater risk of having Alzheimer's? And can anything be done to reverse this disease? Well, CBN News has the latest research. And, Lori, what do you have?
Well, Pat, the answer to your question is yes and yes. And in the moments ahead, we're going to have one of the world's leading women's health experts tell us everyday tips to alleviate the things that steal our joy: weight issues, depression, muddled thinking, and yes, even Alzheimer's. So, ladies, it'll change your life.
Well, the Democrats are on a fishing trip, targeting more than 80 people in their latest probe, a massive investigation ranging from the president's campaign to his taxes to his business dealings. And what I am saying right now is I think they're outside their constitutional authority. And one of the people being named is our dear friend Jay Sekulow, who has been the counsel for the president. And what I would suggest, I don't want to tell him what strategy to pursue because he's a brilliant lawyer, but it seems like to me they ought to go into court and demand a declaratory judgment from the court and to find a sympathetic court, whether the D.C. Circuit is it or whether it's another circuit, but to find a friendly judge and sue Congress. So instead of those congressional people going after all the people involved with Trump, the people involved with Trump ought to say, you are exceeding your constitutional mandate. Show us the evidence that is justifying this extensive type of probe. And I think it might be fun to see it. I don't know, Jay, if you're listening, give it a try, buddy. Terry?
Well, these investigations are forcing the White House to spend all its time and energy defending itself. And they could dog the president and the Republicans all the way through the 2020 election cycle. Heather Sells has more on that.
On Monday, the House Judiciary Committee launched a widespread probe looking into a possible obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power. The president calls it ridiculous.
Are you going to cooperate with Mr. Nadler?
I cooperate all the time with everybody. And you know the beautiful thing? No collusion. It's all a hoax.
House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler is orchestrating the investigation. The Judiciary Committee sent letters to more than 80 people, including executives in President Trump's real estate companies, administration officials, and members of his inaugural committee. Even family members, including sons Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Jared Kushner, were targeted. The committee also is asking the FBI and Justice Departments for documents on possible pardons for Michael Cohen. The Wall Street Journal reports today one of Cohen's attorneys approached Trump's lawyers about a pardon but was turned down. It also wants documents on hush money payments Cohen arranged during the campaign to two women who alleged sexual encounters with Trump. Nadler says the requests, due in 2 weeks, are a way to begin building the public record.
Our job is to protect the rule of law in this country. Remember, we are talking about a situation where for 2 years the Republican Congress did no oversight on the administration.
Another probe will examine private conversations between the president and Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's all part of a Democratic strategy to flood the White House with requests and keep the president on trial publicly right up until 2020.
I hope we get something done besides investigations aimed at impacting the next election.
The president's press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, is calling the probes a fishing expedition. The president says Democrats are terrified that their Russian collusion charge is crumbling.
They don't have anything with Russia. There's no collusion. So now they go and morph into, let's inspect every deal he's ever done.
Although the special counsel's Russia investigation is winding down, these new probes signal a Democrat strategy of distracting the White House and its resources through the election season. Heather Sells, CBN News.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, we only have one president, and he is the one in charge of foreign policy. He's in charge of the military, and he's in charge to see that the laws are faithfully executed. He is the executive, and if the executive is handcuffed by these enormous amounts of inquiries, it's going to cripple our nation. What good will it do if our economy is in trouble? What good will it do if we suffer in our relationship with our foreign allies and adversaries? What good will it do? What are they accomplishing? What are they accomplishing? How can you say you're a loyal American when you're trying to cripple your nation? What are they accomplishing? Well, we're doing our oversight. Yeah, baloney. I don't believe one word of it. It is strictly Democrat politics in the worst form, and it is not American. It is not helping our country. And if you and I are concerned, I think what you ought to do is write your congressman, let them know you're not in favor of all these senseless witch hunts. But what I said earlier, I really think that the guys under these, well, there's subpoenas for all this information. It's time for them to hit back. Get declaratory judgments in friendly suits and sue over and over again. I mean, make the Democrats go to court and defend themselves, because this kind of stuff should not stand. Well, in other news, America's relationship with Israel could be a big issue for Democrats in 2020. John Jessup has more on that.
Thanks, Pat. Both parties have long supported the Jewish state, but recent comments and tweets by some Democratic newcomers are causing headaches for the leadership and grumblings within the party rank and file. Jenna Browder has the story.
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing. And
from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
how has this administration responded?
To Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, younger Democrats coming into Congress are speaking out against Israel and in some cases being called anti-Semitic. This week, Nancy Pelosi and House leaders are drafting a resolution to address the most recent controversy. Omar is accused of anti-Semitism by leaders of her own party after saying pro-Israel lawmakers are, quote, showing allegiance to another country. This after she was forced to apologize last month for a tweet suggesting AIPAC, the pro-Israel lobbying group, bought the support of her colleagues. It's all causing a big headache for Democratic leadership and the party's 2020 hopefuls, who will have to take up the issue on the debate stage.
Absolutely. I think Republicans will make sure it's an issue. I think Jewish Democrats will make sure it's an issue.
A.B. Stoddard with Real Clear Politics says this could create a big opening for Republicans, and Democrats know that.
They're very concerned about the direction of the party. Support for the BDS movement, any kind of skepticism of Netanyahu is one thing, but to go beyond that and to question the unbreakable bond, I think, is really going to cause a lot of strife within the party.
As well as potential issues with their own voters. A 2018 Pew Research poll found just 27% of Democrats sympathize with Israel, down from 38% in 2001. And younger voters are dramatically less supportive than older voters.
I think that it's a big internal struggle that they don't want to make too public. They don't want to have the debate be out in the open, but they're working behind the scenes very aggressively to try to make it clear to people that we stand with Israel.
A group of prominent Democrats has formed a pro-Israel group to counter any skepticism, but that may not be enough. And in 2020,
but President Trump, when he runs next year, he's not going to do nuance. He's going to hammer them over this in simplistic terms that will make it very complicated for the Democratic nominee.
Instead of talking about other ideas, Democrats may have to defend and explain themselves on an issue few of them want to address. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Thanks, Jenna. The president is vowing to sign a measure guaranteeing free speech on college campuses, regardless of political leanings.
Today, I'm proud to announce that I will be very soon signing an executive order requiring colleges and universities to support free speech if they want federal research dollars.
The announcement comes after an uproar over an incident at Berkeley University last month. An on-campus argument turned violent when a man punched a conservative activist. Friday, Berkeley University police arrested a suspect in the incident. The school says it supports free speech regardless of political beliefs. Conservatives say they face discrimination on college campuses across the country. Well, another day of searching for the victims of the deadly EF4 tornado that struck East Alabama, killing 23 people, including 3 children. The twister, reaching wind speeds up to 170 miles an hour, spun a path of destruction half a mile wide, making it the deadliest United States tornado in nearly 6 years. Survivors met in the Beauregard High School gym to mourn the loss of family and neighbors and to pray together, still in shock from all they suffered.
It's really terrible seeing the destruction that it's caused and seeing the lives that it's scarred and the people it's hurt. And there's really not words to describe the kind of carnage it's wreaked.
The Lee County coroner says all but 6 of the people in the storm have been identified. Residents still are looking for missing family, friends, and neighbor. Well, the country's leading cybersecurity publication has honored Regent University. Cyber Defense Magazine named Regent's Institute for Cybersecurity among its 2019 InfoSec Award winners. Regent was recognized in the trailblazing category. Security professionals chose Regent among only 200 recipients nationally for this year's awards, given to companies and organizations that, quote, create and offer the most respected information security products and services. Regent provides hands-on training, giving students the highest level security skills in cybersecurity. And Pat, Regent was one of 200 organizations honored, but out of 3,000 up for consideration.
Well, I'm very proud of what Regent's done with cybersecurity. Regent has acquired a cyber range. It is now doing advanced cyber training for the North Atlantic Fleet, the Navy here in the Tidewater area, the Tactical Air Command out of Langley. I believe the Defense Department has asked for help. And this training is not only defensive, it also can be offensive. So we're training people to know how to identify a cyber attack that is coming. It is hands-on training, and it is most sophisticated that you can imagine. So if you're interested in something like that, Regent is also offering cyber certificates for people to be cyber experts or cyber technicians. And you can, you can find what you want to do with calling 1-866-910-7615, Regent University, and it is the Cyber Institute of Regent University, and it is amazing, and that they got this award. That's a big deal.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I congratulate everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, I'm just amazing. I didn't really know what a cyber range was till I bought one, and you know, so we've got it. It's fun. All right.
That's great.